Hey everyone, Sula here from MistyHilltops.com. Thanks for stopping by. In this video, I'm working on a traveler's notebook layout titled Bee Feast. I'll be scrapping this photo, and I'm working with a digital scrapbook kit, Honeybee Mine, by Traci Reed from Sweetshoppe Designs. And this layout is based on sketch number 43, which is a silhouette cut template that is or will be available as freebie at MistyHilltops.com, and there are a number of freebies available, so if you haven't done it, go check it out. So this is again a mixed media page, and so I'm starting by putting this stencil in the background because I want to stencil this with texture paste, or I want to apply texture paste to the stencil. And so here I am preparing it. I'm adding some yellow color. This will be a sunflower page about bees. There's a bee sitting on the sunflower, and my mom was sharing about how the bees are really happy with those sunflowers that she's growing in her garden. This is a page for her garden album that I'm making, and so I want to make a sunflower bee page, and so I'm putting down this hexagon pattern in the background. And so for that, I still wanted to give my texture paste a little shade of yellow. I'm not looking for a strong look, and I'm not looking for a regular look either. And I'm also not looking for a perfect look. I want it to be artistic and a little messy. And this design actually is one that will be at an angle. It's not a straight on the page design. And so I'm trying to keep that in mind as I apply the texture paste, that the design will be at an angle on the page. And so for it to show behind, once I put the papers and photos down and the photo down and stuff, so that I still want some of that texture paste to show. And here I'm adding a little bit of watercolor to the back there so that I can actually apply it onto the texture paste. I think I have all the texture paste in place that I want to use, and so now I'm just slightly coloring and dabbing some of the yellow watercolor onto this so that it picks up the color as I on this texture paste. Obviously this will have to dry for quite a while, so it takes at least an hour, usually more than an hour, for it to dry, so I can't continue working until it's actually dry. And then here I'm ready to put down the papers. I have waited enough time so that now I can work with the papers. And as I said, the design is at a slight angle, and so it's not supposed to go straight onto the page, and so I want to be mindful of that. I usually start by laying out everything on my page because I have the edges just roughened up, so things just still want to slide around the page, and so it's a little difficult. So I'm starting, because this is a pretty straightforward page design, I don't have to be too worried about will the papers go in the right place if I start gluing down something and then it doesn't add up the way that I planned it. It adds up because basically the larger paper strip will go pretty much centered on that background kind of gingham pattern paper there, and so everything else just is easy to put down. So it's not a big where I have to really measure and be careful with how I measure things and how I put things on the page. This one is a pretty easy one, and you see most of the texture paste is actually going to be covered up. That's what happens when I just want to do this for the background. And here, usually my glue has a little of a tough time with the texture paste. It really doesn't want to stick so much to it. It does, so which is why I haven't changed my glue yet, because it's not so bad that the glue doesn't work at all. It just needs a little extra loving and a little extra attention as I put things down onto the texture paste, but usually it works fine. So there is this hexagon little die cut piece. It is from a set with bees that where you can dye some bees and then put them together. So I'm adding this piece there. This I think will not come with my template actually. If you want to go and download the template from mistyhilltops.com, it will not come with the hexagon piece because obviously this page should be where you can use it for a variety of topics and themes. So this is a bee themed page for me, as there is a bee sitting on the sunflower, and that was what my mom wanted to capture, to show me that these sunflowers really draw bees. I made her as a Christmas gift. I gave her a whole bunch of seeds last Christmas. So they're organic seeds somewhere, and among them was a pack of these sunflower seeds, which the package says they're for balcony and terraces, which you would assume they would be small, but these sunflowers turn into little trees. And so my mom is super happy. The neighbors are asking her where she gets these sunflowers and stuff. So everyone is admiring these beautiful sunflowers that come in loads, like one stem carries so many of them, and they draw the bees like crazy. And that's what we were hoping to achieve, to get her garden a little more wildlife friendly. And so bees are always welcome in my parents' backyard. So here I'm already starting with some of the embellishments there. You see this is I'm not sure, it's probably a daisy die, but I just kind of used it as a sunflower wannabe. And there are the little hexagons, and they actually come from this other die cut piece where it's just to cut out the frame. But then I always end up keeping the insides of it, which are small hexagons, and I thought, I could just add them to the side, just them coming down there, and then I will put a bee there so it'll connect what is down there with the design higher up on the page. So I think there's a nice little trail where the bee and that little cluster of embellishments there will still be connected with the rest of the page, because it runs down the side of the page. So yeah, even though it's may not be meant for this, but I like to keep those pieces from die cuts that are actually not part of the design, but sometimes they can be useful. And here is one of those bees. Now I used some yellow and some black cardstock to cut these bees out, and then for the wings I just cut from my vellum paper. So the wings are slightly transparent, just as they would really be with the real bees. And so I made 3 bees because I try to keep work by the rule of 3s, which is a design rule that says it's more pleasing to the eye if it's not just pairs, because pairs is your eye can immediately grasp, but 3s and odd numbers make your eye stay a little longer to understand what's going on. And so this is a design rule that I usually try to follow. So I have 3 bees going on my page, even though I actually had 4 bees that were cut the way that they were. My die cut pieces came like you had to, I had to cut 2 of each color to get the black and yellow working together. So that makes 4 bees, and I have 1 sitting still around and trying to see if I can find another use for it. So here are some more of the word strips. I have a lot of garden word strips that you can download as freebie on my blog, mistyhilltops.com. They are available in German and in English, so go check it out if you want those word strips. You can just print them out on cardstock or any kind of paper that you like, and then just trim them up, cut them apart. That's how I do it. So here I'm still adding a few more of the embellishments. Some of the embellishments, like the beehive, come with that digital scrapbook kit by Traci Reed, which is probably not available anymore. I've had it for many years, but it was very fitting for the page that I wanted to create here, because the main part is that bees get attracted by the sunflowers, and so it's a bee focused layout. So here I am ready to glue down the bee, and you see the hexagon little thing there. It really does connect this little cluster that is actually otherwise unconnected, and it does connect it with the rest of the design. So now I'm ready just to add a few more pieces here. There's flowers, and these are all die cut pieces that I probably have lying around from other projects, or maybe I cut them for this very project. I'm always working on something here. So now I'm ready to just add the title. For the most part, this page is done, and I want to add this title, and I decided to go with one of my Scripty alphas there. Not sure by who this is. It was available locally here. And so I'm trying to figure out, I'm writing the word bee feast in German, and I want to make sure that it actually fits in the space that I have allotted to the title there. And so here I just start to stamp it out, and I just love these Scripty alphas. I think they make a lovely addition to any page. Sometimes I just cut them out, fussy cut them. I stamp and then fussy cut and use that as a title, but here I decided I will stamp it directly onto the background page, which I had to be careful because the previous page on the left side, so the back side of that also has some texture paste and all that, but I thought the texture paste would be lower on the page, because when there's some bulk on the back side, that means that maybe the stamps won't stamp very well. So I had to be aware of that. But it turned out the stamps worked just fine. There was no problem with stamping it. Sometimes it happens, if you have watched other of my videos, that the ink will not transfer to every part of the page, and that usually has to do if there's something on the background, and so that creates some gaps on the paper. So here I'm to the almost last, now the last letter, and it says bee feast, which makes more sense in German than it does in English. So anyway, this is this page done, and now I will flip the page around and I will cut it apart, and I use the back side to use that as a cutting line. And here, this is my page. I'm going to leave you with some more close-ups. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.